Please.
Mayor Romanek.
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Here.
Commissioner Watson.
Here.
Commissioner Ranello.
Present.
May we all please stand and salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975. It was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The admissible clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, Mayor.
Presentations?
We have none.
Public comment on agenda items only. If you would like to come to address the commission, please come to the podium, state your name, and address the agenda items only. Thank you, and limit your comments to 5 minutes approximately.
Good evening, Tim Cardy, Millville. I just gotta make a comment on the discussion of making Buck Street a one-way road, parts of it. I don't know whose simple idea this is, but I guess they failed to realize that when the traffic's backed up on 49, the way it gets backed up, a lot of people use that road to cut the traffic. I guess they also didn't realize that if the police cars are coming out off Ware Avenue and they're responding to the 3rd Ward or that section of the city, that's their main route. I mean, I don't even know why this is a discussion when there's so much important other stuff going on in the city. I just want to know who's going to benefit from this, because it sure isn't going to be the residents or the visitors. I mean, you have the pizza place, a pediatric office, and a foot and ankle right there. It's going to affect their customers. It's going to affect the customers, whoever's up top that needs parking below. And we got, what, 2, 3 city parking lots there? I mean, the library just had a big event on Saturday, and they held all them vehicles, plus the small parking lot next to the Blue Building. And let's not forget that you're going to have a major bridge construction. I mean, common sense. I mean, I haven't seen detour plans, but I'm sure the DOT is going to be using that as a right turn if you're heading west. And if you get an accident at a high in Main, that's another detour route. Again, I don't understand whose brilliant idea is to even think about this or why. I mean, we got more important issues going on instead of trying to make 3 blocks of Buck Street that's going to affect everybody, including our first responders. You know, slow down response times. How are you going to tell that lady that's having a heart attack, her husband, when she dies because the ambulance couldn't take her down Buck to cut across down one of the side streets to get to Oak or Pine? That's all I got to say. I mean, to me, this is just a waste of everybody's time, and it's not benefiting the residents or the visitors or even our first responders.
Thank you, Mr. Cardy. Seeing no one else, I will close the public comment on agenda items only. Discussion of commissioners.
All right, let me start out with why I wanted to look at Buck Street now. First of all, we've lost several parking places. With the expansion of the library, we lost parking places to stop at the top of the hill. We've also lost parking places at the post office because they have changed their parking to 30-minute tow-away zone. You guys were at the car show. You saw the crowds there. I expect that to get bigger with what a positive event that was. Second, to address traffic flow, well, first of all, we closed that street probably more than any other street in the city for our events. We closed it down fully between Pine and 49 for 4th Fridays. There's another event, and also 9/11, it's partially closed. For OEM, in an evacuation situation, they're going to make anything go whichever way they got to make it go to facilitate an evacuation. If you guys have ever seen evacuations from Florida, you will notice that they close 95 down on both sides and everybody goes one way. So that can be addressed. Now, since we lost parking places, we're also going to pave Buck Street shortly, not because we lost parking places, but because of the library, because of all the road that was tore up there. So that's on our list to pave. So there's two ways that we can do it if we choose to do it. Now, it's on here for discussion to see if we want to do it.
Yeah, there's no
There's no,
infinite,
right,
this
there's
is how it's
no,
done.
and, you know, we have a lot of things to do in the city, and we have to consider everything, not just what anybody else thinks is important. Everything's important. So engineering looked into this first, and there's two options to do it. So the engineer cited some benefits. More street parking for downtown High Street in the Old Arts District and Leawood. More flexibility when having city events at Buck Park and High. Option to close the roadway or detour in the park area where one-way traffic pattern will be. So you can do that or you don't have to do it. It will be more pedestrian friendly, and it can get more foot traffic around existing and proposed businesses in the area. The possibility of reducing traffic at the intersection, such as long wait time off Buck and Ware for a left, you know, when you're trying to get through there. If you guys ever sat there in the middle of the day,
Yep.
if you're trying to make a left turn, sometimes you sit between 2 and 3 lights.
Because it's only right turn only from
Correct.
Buck onto West Main.
So there are two ways that we could do this if we decide to
turnaround.
do it. Okay, option one is to start with an ordinance with a first reading. So we start with the ordinance to get a first reading to see if we're interested in doing it and the public is interested in doing it or not. If denied, it costs us no money on the NJ DOT permitting and traffic studies. If it's okayed on the first meeting, we move forward with the NJ DOT permitting and traffic studies and utilize ordinance first reading as proof to the state that the city is sincere about the change. If denied by the state, that's the end of it. If approved, we can move forward with the second reading of the ordinance. Now, if we go through the first way, we can, it's also a pretty good chance that we won't have to pay for the traffic study. Last, you have the second reading of the ordinance to approve one-way traffic. If it's denied, that's the end of project and loss of whatever money and resources we put in it, which should be minimal. And if it's approved, the project would move forward. Now next, we could start with a resolution to investigate the one-way traffic flow, if we would have decided to do it that way. So we passed a resolution. Now we have to front resource and time to complete the DOT permitting for state approval. And again, if denied by the state, that's the end. If approved by the state, we move forward with the ordinance at first reading. And once we do that, if it's denied, then that's the end of it. And of course, then we move forward with the second reading. And the final step is the second reading of the ordinance. This will be a longer timeline option with a higher risk of it not being approved by the state because they will probably doubt our sincerity and may not want to do the traffic studies. So, you know, that's why I brought it forward at this time, because of the paving, and that will entail perhaps construction changes, perhaps not, but will definitely entail line painting changes, and we don't want to do that afterwards. If we're going to consider it, now is the time to consider it. So that's why it's on the agenda. It was on the agenda last week. Once I knew I wasn't going to be here, after listening to our amateur traffic engineers, I figured I'd better be here to explain why I wanted it on the agenda, to see if you guys wanted to proceed or you just didn't want to proceed. Either way is okay with me. So I think I covered everything. I don't know if you guys have any other questions. It's obviously a discussion for a work
Yeah,
session, so certainly forward them to engineering or whatever.
Public safety, you have any comment?
As busy as we have been, at this time, no, actually, to be honest with you. Because naturally, you know, I'm going to sit and talk with Sergeant Stadnick, because he's traffic safety, and he's also now OEM director. And yes, we have been very busy, so it just, I was not able to do it. That's where I'm at.
So you need more time.
Yes.
I think it's definitely important that we have their input.
Yeah, well, I think that's the most number one important
I was
thing.
wondering if we actually had their input at this point.
Not yet.
We do not have their definite input at this point.
My concerns are, I was at the library on Saturday. They had about 300 people there, and I personally did not see any issue with parking. I was at the car show, and there were a lot more people there.
For now, absolutely.
I did not see an
Correct.
issue with
For
parking.
now, you're right.
I was there for every Fourth Friday event, and what I did see, Vice Mayor, you were at one of the Fourth Fridays as well, and I think you might have saw me out there with the Parks Department and the police at one point. They had to try to block the street because people weren't obeying the road closures, and I don't know how we're going to enforce that, should that become a one-way, because if they're not obeying barricaded streets, I don't think that a lot of people are going to be very hip with a one-way as a new thing, and I think that might cause, that's something that we have to look at. That might cause more issue than whatever, cost benefits.
Well, when people don't obey signs and barricades, that causes an issue regardless.
Absolutely, but, so those are just my 3 comments on that.
Anything from Public Works Department?
I would like to talk to my department head, get his backing on it. I know we touched base on it a little bit, and it was brought up that it was an emergency road. So before I make any kind of decision, that's where I would like to go. Obviously, get police input as well, and further input from the public. Maybe it is something good to increase the parking in that area. So if the public has any input, I would really like to hear it. So.
Maybe we can reach out to some business owners in the area, like the Mission Spirits, perhaps.
Yeah, I think gauge what our professionals have to give. Just let us, mull and think about it. Go to our professional staff.
Yeah.
See what they have to say. I do agree there is benefits to it. I do see the importance that the police department does have to get to, I guess it'd be North Buck Street. Yeah, because everything east and west is Main Street divided by High. So I do see that. The bridge, the bridge is in case you didn't know, the bridge is an imminent replacement. It will happen, not what, and now it's only the time of when. So, but remember, we live in the state of New Jersey where nothing happens fast. So that's a big concern for me. But, that's going to be a headache no matter what.
Yeah, and realize we can detour traffic whichever way we need to for that.
It's that'll when that happens, that'll be we'll cross that literally, figuratively, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
I was waiting for that. So let's wait and talk to our professionals, get a good understanding. We're always out in the public, so public, come and ask us. Give us your opinion when we're out at many events. We're all over the city of Millville, so I say wait and see.
That's good. We'll wait for you. Reach out to Mission Spirits. And see what.
See if the library has any input. They have their parking lot, but what
I
are
believe
the
they had
traffic?
asked for additional parking before.
Okay.
We can reach out to them again to see if their opinion remains the same.
Yeah.
The bridge replacement would be, a significant, detail. Maybe work on some kind of like a time, and that would be complete.
Oh, long
No,
time,
wait,
long time.
No. Wrong
Yeah.
question.
Well,
No, that's
detouring
Their
traffic.
hair is gonna look like mine.
You're gonna be old like me.
timeline for replacement. No. I think we have something I believe we have something for the DOT. But no, just that. Well, that's going to be a long process. The bridge. So, nah. Wait and see. Talk to our professionals. Just talk to our staff. Talk to the public. But main thing.
And that's why it's on here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Main thing. I definitely want to hear what your chiefs have to say, Kirk. So I think that's upmost. Up the top of my.
That is the most important thing.
Yeah, I'll definitely be talking with the chief and the sergeant.
Yeah, you got whenever the next meeting is. So, ready?
Okay.
Commissioner Hewitt, do you have anything to discuss during the work session?
Just want to thank our public safety team, as always. They're out there grinding hard. I realize a lot of people give them heat and stuff, but, they're there when they're needed. And basically, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hewitt. Commissioner Watson.
Thank you for the opportunity, but I don't have anything to say.
Commissioner Ranello.
I'm grateful for these work sessions. Transparency is really important. Thank you.
Thank you for your words. Vice Mayor Suey.
That's it for now.
Good discussion. I have lots to talk about. Lots of events has been happening in and around Millville, but I will wait for the regular session to discuss all that. So now we have reached any new business.
No, Mayor.
We have now reached the public comment portion of our meeting. Anyone who would like to address the commission, please go to the podium. State your name and address your concerns. Please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes.
Patricia Kears, 409 Peach Drive, Millville. I just want to add one more concern for Buck Street going one way. When you're coming north on 2nd, I live in the west side of Millville, I always cut off on Ware because the traffic light at 2nd and Main is a beast. You cannot make a turn, whether you want to turn left, right, whether you're going north or south. And I think it's going to really clog up 2nd Street even more, High Street, and then it's going to affect your laterals. So I think people need to look at that also. Thank you.
Commissioners, my name is Eldon Paul Hamus. I'm president of Tri-County Sportsman Motorcycle Club. I'm back before you again this year to ask permission to use city property as I have in the last, I think, 3 or 4 years now. I've already met with John Feldus, and he's already relayed I put out the emergency management plan for the event. They were concerned about that. In the past, we were worried about police and traffic safety. I'm working with the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department for a couple of positions. I still may need one city officer for something else. The only thing I'm asking different this year is I'd like to be able to add another piece of city property to help alleviate some of the stuff over around the soccer fields where I've been in the past. We've been doing this event for 4 years and haven't had any issues with anything. The public's been great. The Millville police have been great. Everybody that's been there has done their job, and our people have done what they needed. I'm asking permission for a piece of property. It would be west of Parekas Fields on Cedar Street, on the right-hand side between Parekas Fields and the airport tree farm. It's just a little small, narrow piece of pines right there where the buses turn around most of the time. There's already trail in there. I'm not asking to make anything different. I would like to be able to come up Bogdan Boulevard, make a left onto Cedar Street, make a right into that piece of woods, come out, go down the street, make a left into the other city property that I'm going to go to on Buckshootum Road anyway. Just going to change it so I'm off the blacktop more. I have a copy of a map here. It's the same map that I've given emergency management, and everybody that's looked at it so far has been okay with it. I just need to know if I can add that little extra section in there. Again, I'm not asking for anything different other than that. It's been the same all these years with no issues.
That will reduce the blacktop time of the
Yes,
riders?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. A quick synopsis of where we're coming from. We're coming out of Port Elizabeth. We're coming up Buckshootum Road to Silver Run. We're coming up Silver Run, going in behind the soccer fields where you just had an event in there in August. Basically all the same stuff over around the other side. But instead of going back down Dividing Creek Road, we're going to come out Bogdan, go down Cedar Street for not even a half a mile. It might even be an eighth of a mile if it's that. Shoot in there, come back out. We'll have traffic safety there. Go across the street and then go back over to city property over behind the bunkers and around over there. And then we're heading back out of town. So we won't be here long like we've been in the past. I just wanted to know if I can get that little extra piece of property there to help reduce some of the stuff in that area. And I know that we've had questions in the past. That's why I tried to get to the work session in time. I had to leave work early to get here, but I want to be able here to answer any of the questions that you folks have also in the past.
I mean, it's been a good event for the last, whatever, 4 years.
They come, we try to offer an area at the motorsports park for them to get fuel. A lot of them will get on their GPS. They'll come in town. They go to the gas stations. They go to the Wawa. It originates out of Marsh River Township, if you'll remember correctly. Saturday, my event is all down in the Marsh River Township area. Sunday, it starts in Marsh River Township, comes across the Marshtown Bridge, comes into Millville, does the loop, and goes right back to Marsh River Township again. We'll be a little bit in Commercial Township. We'll be a little bit in Down Township.
And you said this is to alleviate where you normally used to be at, on Dividing Creek Road in Bogdan?
Yeah, we're gonna still cross there, but we won't, but we're gonna try to stay off of Dividing Creek Road as much as we can in that area. We had the corner of Buckshootum and Dividing Creek that was owned by the motorsports park, but they sold that corner.
Correct.
So that's gonna alleviate that also. I'm not gonna be over in that area there.
Yeah, out of the only things I've ever heard was hearsay of that, where Bogdan to Dividing Creek came out, little congestion
Little congestion
sometimes.
there, but it's not a race.
Yes.
My guys can stop for traffic. They don't have to go across the road. We're not gonna. And actually, one of your off-duty officers, Jason Vanzinski's in my club. I usually leave him in that area there to keep an eye on stuff because he knows the police department and stuff too. But I'm also working with Cumberland County Sheriff's Department because I can get them a little cheaper, like for free. And I'm going to use them in a couple of the other spots, but there's probably one other one that I'd like to be able to use, probably one of the Millville officers too. And it won't be a big deal.
Perfect.
So
Thank
if
you.
you have any other questions, feel free to ask me. Thank you.
All right, Tamara Davis, Millville. I need to go back to this discussion because I'm a little baffled and confused on the reasoning behind this. The first reason given for considering this is more street parking. I don't understand why you need more street parking if the lots aren't even full, even on a good night at the Leroy. There's parking available at the Culver Center. There's parking available on Buck Street right now, 2-3 lots. There's parking available behind the Arts Center as well. And then, of course, the street parking further up Pine and such. And then there's parking behind the Orr House. So if those aren't even full on a good night, I don't understand why additional street parking would be allowed. Now, I drove by the library today, and I understand Saturday's an unusual day, but there was 2 cars in the parking lot. I don't know why they would need more parking. There's also, for Mission Spirits, there's also, and I'm not sure who owns this parking lot, but behind Mission Spirits. So if those aren't being full, why would more street parking be needed? I understand that residents can park at the, oh, and I forgot the one on High Street behind the BJ's Roasters. So there's plenty of off-street parking available, so I don't know why more on-street parking. And I'm gonna bring this up because everyone knows there's still people parking in yellow zones, so come on. I don't understand why that's necessary. Who's gonna regulate that? But anyway. Then there was something about more flexibility. More flexibility for what? Exactly. And then pedestrian friendly. Well, right now on Buck Street, other than Mission and the library and the pizza place, there's really not much going on, other than events on Buck, but if it needs, why don't we wait for more businesses to come there? Then I can understand looking into it and possibly adding more spots there. But why do it now before the action happens, if it does? Now, the other reason given was the post office went down from 30 to 15-minute parking, is that what you said?
It went down from unlimited parking to 30-minute tow-away zone parking.
Okay, and who regulates that?
The post office, it's their lot.
Government, sorry.
All right, so does anyone actually do it? Has it started yet?
Yeah, the
I
signs
saw
are there. I was at
signs.
the post office 2 days ago and
Okay,
again today.
so, but what does that have to do? That's on Mulberry, so what does that have to do with all the way down
Well,
by?
to try to answer a couple of your questions, to try to be forward-thinking. So as more development occurs, you have buildings being fixed on High Street, you have House Hardware is now under construction, plans have been submitted, they're in there working, they're actually in there looking at equipment and whatnot. Hopefully 10 Buck Street will be operational soon. There's more development coming, and we don't have to do this, like I said, if people don't want to do it, we could do it later if you want. I'm just looking to try to save money if we do it now, if we decide to do it now. If we don't, we can do it later, but it'll incur additional costs and it'll waste time. Additionally, if you have parking readily available in that area, it may serve the public better as businesses may be more attracted to move in certain areas if parking is readily available. So like I said, if we do it, we do it. If we don't, it's okay with me. But now's the time to discuss it because we're going to pave it. That's why I want to discuss it now.
Okay. I had one more comment, and I can't remember what it was. I'm sorry, it went right out of my head. Oh, and the other thing was, I mean, I know you mentioned that you have events on Buck Street, and you closed that area of Buck Street too, but you have more events on High Street, so there's no discussion of doing any one-way traffic on that. So, like, I don't understand why that would have anything bearing on making that a one-way. Like, I don't understand, what is the point? You have so much other parking, and I don't know why, it would be necessary to close off a street, a throughway, whether it's for OEM, and make it one way. Like, it doesn't make sense when you have so much other parking available. That's not being utilized now. So, to the greatest extent, on a good night.
And
So-
also, you have Bojo's is presently closed right now. When that's open, there's a ton of parking that's taken up by the people going to the bar. Whether it will
Okay.
reopen again,
But
I
all
don't
those
know.
other businesses were still there at the time,
Well,
too.
this is just an option that I'm presenting. That's why we discuss it, and that's why we see what the best option is.
All right.
And perhaps, maybe if we have more parking, somebody won't park in an illegal spot. I would hope.
Well, maybe if you consider what's being parked right now in the public lots, like 2 or 3 buses taking up 6 or 8 spots. There's no ordinance on that, but if you allow things like that happening, school buses parked in a public lot, then, of course you're not gonna have enough parking, so, just saying.
So we do.
Look into it. Great ordinance.
Angeline Broomhall, Millville. I also want to discuss the one-way on Buck Street. Being as I live on Sharp Street, that's where the police go. That's how they have to get there. And it's, that's how they have to get into all the Third Ward when they're here. We know how dangerous the Third Ward is, and to have to zigzag around just doesn't make sense to me. I am concerned as to why the head of Revenue and Finance, who claims he's so busy, is making decisions and spending money already for our engineers to go and look when it's a public safety and/or streets and roads issue. Paying an engineer to go out and look for parking for Mission Spirits. That was what you said. I'm using your words. For one business, when we have ample parking. I don't think that's an issue. And I appreciate the forward thinking of maybe one day. I've been in Millville for over 21 years, and I've heard maybe one day about High Street. If we want to be concerned about something, I would love to see some concern about the places where we have constant car accidents. Buck and Broad, Dock and Broad, Henderson and Sharp. We all know that there's parts of town around here where there's accident after accident after accident after accident. We want, to do what's best for the community. Let's focus on safety, saving lives. How about Bluebird in Second? We want to get the state involved. Let's really talk about one of the most dangerous places in Millville to drive. The rescue squad. Let's use that for a parking lot. Just an idea. If that's what we're doing, is throwing out ideas, And there was expenses incurred. Paying our engineer who's making $1 million almost, who's clearly very busy with lots and lots of things between his 2 contracts. I see the sneer, so I'm going to help you. There are 2 contracts with our engineer.
Well, let me help you because he wasn't the engineer that worked on it. We have 4 engineers up
So
there.
all the things we have going on in engineering, why would we take them away from all these important projects for parking for Mission Spirits?
Please
When we
refrain from conversation. Just let her.
Sorry, I'll let her go.
The
Address
cost
it at the end.
and resources to submit to the state, again, is another cost that we don't have the money for when we are struggling. We're struggling. It doesn't make sense to me at all, to spend this money, which in my opinion, which I am not a public safety person, I don't work for public safety, I am not a traffic guy, anything like that, but I see the police constantly going that way. They have to. To make a left, to make a right is impossible for an average person, never mind lights and sirens trying to get over to Green Street after a shooting. McNeil. Car accidents. I ask that we don't allow this to go much further. Let's not invest more money to find out answers that we kind of already know. But I don't want to play games with this. I don't think it's necessary to entertain something that we know we don't need. Thank you.
We have that closed session, just want to remind everybody.
Yes,
I'm going to make one comment.
Yeah. Seeing no one else, I will close the public comment portion. Closing comments of commissioners. Commissioner Hewitt.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Watson.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Ranello.
Nothing at this time.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Yes, when you're paving a street, you have to design the street. So that's the reason the engineers are looking at it now. And that's it.
I would agree. We already said we're not investing, I don't think, time is money. but we're
Sometimes we have to invest that time to design the street
But
anyway.
my comment is that we're investing time. Time is money. We're going to still ask our professionals, engage their opinions. I would agree to all that. Resolutions.
So we have a resolution authorizing a closed session for the following matter: discussion of DRB ground lease under the attorney-client privilege, the deliberative process exception, and the contract negotiations exception.
Make a motion?
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second on resolution item number 1. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay,